Some people chase the mainstream. Others crave what hides in shadows. Welcome to Indie Horror Junkie, the home of filmmakers, writers, artists, and fans who live for the strange, the bold, the unapologetically independent. From blood-soaked short films and underground features to creator spotlights, reviews, and horror you won't find anywhere else. No studio filters, no safe bets, just raw imagination and fearless storytelling. If you love horror that takes risks, horror that bleeds passion, horror made by creators who refuse to play it safe, then you're already one of us. Indie Horror Junkie. Feed your fear. Support the underground. Indie Horror Junkie, where independent horror lives and refuses to die.
Welcome to the Indie Horror Junkie Podcast, where nightmares meet the light, shadows entwine. Tonight we dive deep into the horror scene, with Rod and Ricky in the asylum, Amy living the dream. Hear the howl of the night echo in your mind, where the rebels of fright, leaving no soul behind. Movers and shakers, we've got the scoop. Filmmakers and actors, they're part of our group. Indie horror lovers, gather all around, bringing the edge, where true tales are found. With every wound that bleeds, a story to tell. Join us, laugh, where the haunted begins.
Well, hello, junkies. Rod and Ricky right here for you. And unfortunately, I'm riding solo today, but I got a handle on this. We're going to be talking to very, very talented filmmaker, Daniel Alexander, who is hitting at my heartstrings because, as many of you who know me, I am a huge, huge, huge Wizard of Oz fan, and he's about to take that down a very dark road, and I can't wait to tell you all about it. But before we bring him on, let's get a little bit of housekeeping out of the way just to kind of keep you up to date with what's going on. As many of you know, we just filmed the first leg of our Reels of the Dead journey this past weekend. We filmed our short film, Fear Good. Really excited. We filmed like 30 hours in 2 days. So it was kind of a whirlwind, but it was so well put together, so well choreographed that we were able to get everything that we needed. I'm very excited about that. Amy and I worked really well together, and I can't wait to show that to you. So we're going to, if everything goes as planned, cross our fingers, knock on wood, we're actually going to be premiering the teaser trailer for Fear Good at the upcoming MegaCon convention. And that segues right into MegaCon. That's coming up in 2 weeks from now. So get ready. March 19th through the 22nd. We'll be there all 4 days this year. So come out and check us out. It starts on Thursday at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then it's going to be going the whole weekend and through Sunday. We've got wall-to-wall short films, feature films. We've got special films. We've got celebrities coming out. We've got all kinds of gear that we're going to have and merch. It's going to be an event for the ages. So please, if you get a chance, you're in Orlando, come out and check us out. It's going to be me, Amy, and 250,000 of our closest friends there. It's an amazing time. Okay, now we have other stuff that we could talk about. Oh, I do want to mention one thing before we bring our guest on. We have our new issue getting ready to come out. We've already revealed the cover. So those of you who have not seen it, let's bring it up here. Boom. Issue number 23. Issue number 23 actually gets released on Friday the 13th. Of this month. It's going to be our 3-year Indieversary issue. It's going to be jam-packed, including with all kinds of articles with of other films coming up, including a film on tonight's guest with Gale is going to be on there. Our Indie Horror Hottie is the iconic Rhonda Shear of Up All Night. And also in this magazine is going to be a full 7-page spread of the upcoming MegaCon convention and the Indie Horror Junkie Film Fest. It'll have breakdowns of all the movies, the special features playing, the full schedule, the whole bit. So instead of just buying a separate program, you can buy this one issue and you'll have the full program for the full setup. And we can't wait to show it to you. It gets released, like I said, on the 23rd. Pre-sales are open. And just as a reminder, if you take advantage of the pre-sale and you order your magazine now, not only will you get the magazine shipped on the 13th and you'll get your digital copy on the 13th, but you can go back and choose a complimentary copy of any issue from our back catalog and we'll send it right to you. So you get double the junkie pleasure. So, all right. I think I've crammed in enough for right now. We'll do a lot better next week, but let's go ahead and get to our guest. Daniel Alexander is backstage right now. He's getting ready to join us, and I want to show you the trailer for his new movie called Gale, Yellow Brick Road. So check it out, and when it's done, he'll be with us. Here you go.
They told me Oz was just a story, a fairy tale my grandmother dreamed up after the storm.
How do you know Dorothy?
I don't.
Then why are you here? For nearly 20 years. Since I've known her, she can't have said more than 4 words to me.
My mother tried to bury our secret. She called it family madness.
Are you ready for today's session?
But you can't hide from something that knows your name.
Now we'll begin.
She said she saved me by hiding Oz, abandoning it, leaving it to die so that I might live. I see their faces, the witches, the patched-together creature, the man made of tin, the wheeler.
Stay away from us!
I see the same yellow brick road, the same shadows, voices calling from behind the wind. Now Oz is awake again. And whatever began with my grandmother is coming back to finish with me.
Man, I am so excited about that film, brother. I've been watching that and hearing about it for probably a little over a year now, and it's like it's getting ready to come out, and I am jazzed. Daniel, how are you, sir?
I'm really good. Thank you very much. How are you?
I'm doing well. I know you're exhausted. A lot of people here probably don't realize this, but you're coming to us from over the pond, as they like to say. So I think it's 1 a.m. your time.
It's crazy. I literally went to sleep and woke up. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to hang out and get to 1 a.m. naturally. So, but here I am. I'm good.
Well, we're happy to have you. We got a couple comments, I think, coming in already. Let's see what we got going on here. We got Jamie. You might know a few people if they come in. That's Jamie. She was in movies called Skinamarink. She wanted to drop in and say hello. We got another Jamie there. Oh, Jamie's back. Okay, this is tarot cards. Tarot cards is something that we normally talk about on the front end, but Amy's not here, so she didn't remind me. But tarot cards is one of our sponsors. They have an actual online mobile app where you can they make trading cards. You can trade trading cards with the whole community. It's really cool. And then we have Louis Gallagher saying this is an awesome looking cover. Oh, of course. Thank you, Louis. Okay. And interesting tie into the Wizard of Oz. Yes. This is what I've been looking for. This is what I've been waiting for. I was so happy that when you agreed to join us. I was so happy when we got to do a piece to put in the new magazine because like I told everybody at the beginning, I've been a huge Wizard of Oz fan all my life. I think it kind of creeped me out when I was a kid at first, and that was the fascination for me. And then I've got a whole collection of all kinds of weird stuff out there that I'm scared to admit that I've got outside. So I really want to get into what we've got going on here. So let's start off right there with that. How did this concept come about? Where did it come from? How did it gestate? How did you get it to where it is right now?
I think it was very similar to some of what you're saying. So I had a massive love for the Wizard of Oz as well. So from early, like it freaked me out as a kid as well. The Return to Oz, like that was like a straight up horror film. That was crazy. That was absolutely crazy. So for me, as I got older and fell in love with filmmaking and storytelling, there was a big massive desire for wanting to kind of carry on that world. And I know the Wizard of Oz has been explored so many times, but I had like a burning question, which was, what would have happened to Dorothy Gale like now? Like, where would she be now after being subjected to so much, for me, torture, in the sense of, you know, going through all of this crazy, you know, is it real, is it not real, people not believing her, feeling like she's absolutely going crazy? Like, what would that do to a person living with that in a now, essentially? So that was a kind of like catalyst for the film, the kind of like seed for the journey of where it all came from. And I wanted to just explore what that would look like if, you know, she had one living relative, Emily, a granddaughter, who was experiencing the exact same things as Dorothy. It now becomes a question of, okay, is Oz actually real, or is it some, you know, hereditary illness that's been passed down and hallucination? So I just wanted to ask all of these kind of crazy questions and put it into a film and see where it goes.
Oh, wow. When I first saw the trailer, it kind of reminded me, there was a movie called Hook with Robin Williams, where he played what do you call Peter Pan, but obviously he had gone and he matured and he was away from Neverland, and then years and years later he ended up rejoining and reliving that whole thing. And that was such a cool concept and brought back the feels, but also, like you said, it kind of brings it from another perspective. What happens if after all that had happened to you, whatever it is, had a chance to settle in or whatever, and now you have to go back and go through all that again? That's such an interesting concept. But on top of that, with yours, you turned it into a freaking horror movie, which it really kind of was when we were kids, but now you turned it into a horror movie. So that opens up all kinds of new elements. I'm really excited to see what you do with all that.
Amazing. Yeah, well, to be fair, it felt like it was a horror movie anyway. I mean, looking at the original books, because that's where a lot of the inspiration came from. So it was really important to kind of go back to the source material and look at the books and really kind of delve into some of the stories that are there and some of the kind of like undertones of what this world is supposed to feel like. So that's where a lot of the inspiration came from anyway. And it felt like it naturally leaned towards the horror element anyway. Yep. And with this film, I'd say it's more of a psychological horror, dark fantasy. It's very, it's a thinker. It's a thinker of a film.
Very cool. Well, I have some pictures here from it I'd like to bring up. And when I bring the pictures up, if you can just kind of give us an explanation of maybe what's happening there. Obviously, you don't want to give away any spoilers or anything like that, but just kind of give the audience an idea of what we can expect. So let's get it. I think we got about 12 of them. So let's bring up the first one.
Cool. Okay. So this is representing the therapy scene. So with, you know, Emily Gale is Dorothy's granddaughter, and, you know, as part of her journey of trying to figure out what's going on, she is going through, in fact, sorry, I'm saying therapy scene. This is not actually our therapy scene. It's a lead on from our therapy scene. But this is part of Emily's journey where she meets Dr. Appleton, and that's who we're looking at right now. And it's a case of Emily's very, very early stages of trying to figure out who is she, what is her family lineage, and what the heck is going on after she's now starting to experience things that don't quite make sense.
Nice.
And yet we're in the same scene. So this is, you know, still Emily trying to figure out what does all of this mean. You know, she's starting to experience a lot of dreams, a lot of hallucinations, a lot of things that are very akin to what Dorothy went through. And this is part of her journey of figuring out, is this real or not?
Yeah, and as a filmmaker myself, I love looking at the texture, the character of the room. So many people, you see so many indie filmmakers that just have such white walls and everything plain and moving everything out and eliminating shadows and stuff. But you're utilizing shadows and the colors here, and the whole room has such character. I mean, I love it.
Yeah, it was really important. It's really important for us to just try and create an atmosphere and just try and create a world as well. And you know what it's like as being a filmmaker. You don't necessarily have the money and the budget to kind of do everything that you want, but the things that you can control, you'll put everything into it to make sure that it leans into the story. And that's what we try to do with our locations as well. Right.
And this is our lead character, I take it?
This is our lead character, Emily Gale. Who's played by Chloe. Like, Chloe's an absolutely amazing actress and carries the film like so well. And, you know, it's she had a really heavy task, because this is very much centered around her. Like, pretty much the whole film is very much focused on her journey, and we're right inside her mind the whole time. So she had a big task.
Wow. And who we got here?
Okay, so this is a very interesting character called Eric. So this is a character that Emily, I would say, befriends. We'll say that for now until people watch the film. So a character that Emily befriends and is trying to help her on her way as well, and trying to help her understand and make sense of the world that she's in.
Okay.
And this is our good old Dorothy Gale. So this is Dorothy in front of her home before a very interesting scene that I can't really say anything about without spoiling the movie. So you'd have to kind of watch it. But this is their Dorothy, played by Karen Swan. Again, an amazing artist.
Right.
And here we go. Here's Chloe again, Emily Gale. She's this was a really interesting location that we had as well, because it was one of those places where we found, and as we were exploring the house and filming in the UK and trying to make it look like the US, it's just like, okay, what elements within this house could we cheat and manipulate to really not give away the fact that it's very, very, very British, if that makes sense. So yeah, this is us exploring.
So they're not in Kansas anymore, I take it, right?
We're definitely not in Kansas anymore. And this is where Emily is meeting Dorothy for the first time. So again, this is on her exploration, trying to figure out exactly what's going on, because the way that the film's kind of been designed, it's Emily didn't even know she had any living relatives. So she discovers that she's just got one living relative who happens to be Dorothy, who happens to be have a history of experiencing the exact same hallucinations that she's currently having right now.
I love that angle.
And here we are at the premiere. So this was our London premiere, which was really, really cool. We had our house full. I think we had like 350 guests. We had a packed out theater. We had, I think it's like 20 people flew over from the US to come and join us as well. And on stage from right to left, we've got Dane, who's our exec producer and one of the founding members of Chilling, who are the production company. Amazing people. Then next to him, we have Matthew Ford, who is the writer of Gale, who's done a really amazing job of trying to make sense of such a crazy world. And then myself in the middle, looking like I'm way happier than I should be. And then next to me, we have Tanisha, who is the producer of the film and also my partner in real life. And she was going to be on the podcast, but she's asleep upstairs. And and then next to her, we have the star of the film, Chloe Crump.
Very nice. There's you on set.
Me on set, looking very perplexed, like, what the heck do I do now?
What have I got myself into?
Yeah, I think that was one of our latter days as well. That was yeah, man. I think we were really pushing against the clock, pushing against time, money, and the usual saga of making a film.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Believe me. So, how did your journey as a filmmaker start? When was it that you first had the bug bite you, and how did it happen? Were you always wanting to be a director? Were you in front of the camera first? Were you in school and you was acting out in plays? Tell us where it all started, Daniel.
Yeah, I think it was an accident. I think I remember I got a camera when I was probably about 19, 20, and I ended up filming a whole ton of music videos. Like a whole ton of music videos. That was my start. And I realized that while I was filming music videos, I was always trying to like tell a story. I was trying to do something narrative within there. I was trying to craft some of the things that I grew up loving watching on TV, which was always like a Steven Spielberg film or something that is quite kind of like grand out there. So that was when I first got the kind of like bug for filmmaking. And from doing the music videos, I did my very first short film, which I think, I can't even remember what year it was. I want to say 2009, because I remember the very first short film that I did, it won an award in 2009. So I think that was the first proper short film that I did. So it won like 3 awards at like where I'm from. It's like one of the main kind of like film festivals and stuff. The film was terrible, but it still, looking back, but it did what it needed to do at the time.
Right.
And then from there, I just kind of just went all in. So I never went to any film school. I never had any official training. It was a case of the good old days where, dial-up internet, AOL, if anybody remembers. And I used to just go online and just save as much information about filmmaking as possible onto a floppy disk at the time. And I remember giving it to my mom, and she would take it to her job and she'd print it off. She was a receptionist. And then I'll just compile like a book that was like this big by the end of it. And I'll just read through every single thing that I've kind of like had printed off and downloaded. And I just try to learn as much as possible about filmmaking. And from there, I've just never looked back. I've just been creating project after project after project, and just really having this notion of, I want to kind of do it my way. I want to be bold. I want to be tenacious. I want to do things that kind of like break the rules and break the norm. And I'm not going to wait for permission. I'm just going to go out there and make things. And even if it's not as good as I want it to be, I don't have the necessary money to make it in the way that I want, I'm just going to keep doing it over and over and over again until something breaks.
There you go. I mean, and what are you saying about film school? I'm not trying to knock film school whatsoever. Film school has a purpose, and if you have the time and the money and everything, then obviously something like that as well. But to me, one of the first books I ever read was a book called Rebel Without a Crew by Robert Rodriguez.
I read that. That was the first book I read too.
Look at that, see? Yeah. But in that book, he explains that, never go to film school. He said, take that money you would spend on film school and go make a movie, because you'll learn more on set than you'll ever learn in a classroom. And I really believe that. I mean, my first movie, Web of Darkness, we shot that, and I never wanted to make it out. My plan was to sell the script, but I was convinced to let's just go ahead and shoot it. We hired a company here locally to shoot it, and everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong twice. And the movie was trash, and it was terrible for its time. But I was, like you said, I was tenacious, and I at least wanted to finish it and get it out there, because I didn't like having something undone. And even though the movie was terrible, I learned so much. I was a completely different person from the time I started that movie to the time I ended it, and I was bitten by the bug, and I'm like, that's it. I've got to make it. But another thing that Robert Rodriguez mentions in his book is that you've got to be able to look at your films, the first one you shot and the last one you shot, and you got to be able to see an arc. As long as you can see an arc that you're getting better and everything, if not, it's just a hobby. So that's what I always try to do. I always try to make my next film the best film. So that's all you can do.
100%. And so, like, it's just crazy. It's been the same first book. Like, so much great advice from that. Like, it's just so true. It's just so true. Like, you need, as long as you're getting better, and as long as you're willing to kind of put that work in and actually do what is needed to keep increasing the skill, like, you're good to go, man. You're good.
Absolutely. Our friend here, Lance LeBrun, who was always he's one of our movie reviewers, and he always joins us in the podcast. A little late, but he said he was creeped out by your trailer because the Wizard of Oz creeped him out as well when he was a kid. So absolutely. I never saw Return to Oz, even though it had one of my favorite actresses, the girl from The Craft. I always forget her name, but I have the DVD, and one day I intend to watch it. But from everybody that's told me about it, they said it's a really creepy movie. So
you need to watch it, dude.
Yes.
Yeah, for real.
I will for sure. What do we got here? It says, yo, creepy as hell. Yes, it is. Absolutely. All right. So obviously the movie's done because you had a premiere. So that would make no sense if you didn't have a premiere with no movie. So first off, before I ask you about that and where it is right now, when we can see it. But like I said, I was following this and hearing about it and reading about it about a year or so ago. How long has this process been going on? When did this first start going? And how did it get to where we are now?
So it's been about a 3-year process. So the way that it started was I had the idea. I had the idea of what I wanted to do. But again, I didn't have the money. I didn't have the resources to make it. So the plan was, I said, I'm going to go out there. I'm going to film a trailer. So obviously not the trailer that you just saw, but I said I'm going to go out and film a trailer. I'm going to film what I would ideally want the film to look like, and hopefully film it well enough that I'm going to put it out there and make people feel like it's something that's already done, something that is already out there, and hopefully it can generate enough attention where somebody can see it and be like, okay, we'll give you some money to make it. And I know it's crazy. I know it's a needle in a haystack kind of thing, but I did it. I shot the trailer in a day. Hired like 2 actors, got some friends together to kind of help. Shot it, edited it myself, directed it myself. I think I had like one light that we just had in the corner of the room, and just like, dude, it was crazy. But put the trailer out. I think by the second day, it just went viral. It just went absolutely insane. Like I'm talking like millions and millions of views across different social media platforms. I think even on YouTube now with that original trailer, it's like five and a bit million views. And you know what YouTube views are like? They're quite tough to get. You know what I mean? So we did its thing, and then the phone started ringing. We were getting calls from loads of production companies. I'm talking about production companies that I've grown up watching from a child, and they're on the phone saying, "Hey, can we see the film? Can we buy the film?" And I'm like, trying to figure it out, like, why are people offering to buy a film and they're not even seeing it? And when I'm having these conversations, they're like, it's because you've proven that there's an audience there. Like, they don't even necessarily care what the film looks like at this point. They're like, dude, there's an audience and the trailer looks this way, so can we buy the film? So I had to have the awkward conversation with people saying, I'm so sorry, it's not a real film. I'm trying to make the film. But I was really surprised because the response was, okay, well, we'll give you some money to make the film. We'll give you some money, go and make the film. So we spoke to a few different companies. In the end, we went with a company called Chilling. They were like one of the leading horror platforms for audio in the world at the time, and they were just transitioning into film. And after speaking with Dane and Chris at the company, like, straight away, my vibe was just like, yo, these guys are so cool, and I think this journey will be amazing. And so we partnered with them, and it has been that way. Like, they've been so supportive. They've allowed us to kind of like make the film the way that we wanted to do. So that's what happened. We made a short film first, which was basically just a proof of concept to kind of see what the world would look like. Chilling were happy, and then just started funding the feature film production. And yeah, halfway through wrapping on that, we got a distribution deal with Fathom, and then it felt very real at that point. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was a case of saying, like, okay, cool, like this is happening. This is happening. So it was a 3-year process of going out there just, on a whim, to it actually coming into fruition and reaching people all around the world.
I love that whole story, because I actually remember seeing that original trailer and I thought, like, holy shit, this looks really cool. I got to see this movie, because like you said, the trailer, it didn't say that this is, not made, or this is just a proof of concept. It made you feel like it was a real film. And I remember, I think there were even some write-ups on some of the horror sites talking about this is coming soon and this and that. So I kept waiting to hear something more, and then we didn't hear anything more. Now you're saying there's a short film. So that's something I haven't seen. So I definitely, is that on YouTube available as well?
That is on the Chilling. So Chilling, the company, they have an app, a streaming app. So that is currently on their app as well, and that is called Gale, Stay Away From Us. Okay,
Chilling. Is that the one where their logo is like a little, like a half moon or a quarter?
That's the one. So they've got an updated logo, but that is a company.
Okay, because my first feature film called The Clock, that was one of the first streaming services that picked it up, was Chilling. So it's on Chilling now.
Amazing. Okay, cool.
Small world. Cool. One thing too is I know now you said you had a premiere, so it's when does it get? First off, I guess I'll save my question till after this. When does it get released?
Okay, cool. So we had a limited release with Fathom Fathom events. They the same way that they kind of do most of their kind of like indie films, we had a limited release throughout the US. So it hit like 1,000 theaters across the US. So it was everywhere, but it was for a very, very limited time. I think some places ran it for a few days, but essentially it was supposed to be like one night only, this special event, 1,000 theaters, go out there and see it. So that happened on I think it was the 11th of February.
Okay.
So that was kind of insane. And then since that's happening, it's just been conversation after conversation now in regards to what is our distribution strategy, talking to a variety of different companies, and whether we're doing a release at the same time all over the world, whether it's there's options right now. Do you know what I mean? Because I think we were very much focused on that Fathom release, in the sense of saying, okay, we'll have this limited release. It's going to do all of these theaters over the US. And then after that, we can get really kind of clever and strategic in regards to how do we get this out to the world, and which company kind of do we partner with. And that's literally what's happening now. Like, we're literally in conversation with so many different companies at the moment in regards to who wants to take it on, who what territories is it going to go to first. So that's all in the process right now. And the headache that Chilling have to deal with, and luckily not me right now. So
yeah, I wish I would have known about that Fathom release, because we worked with a company. They made the movie Terrifier, and then Michael Levy, he had another movie called Stream, and they did that where they had limited releases in various theaters. So what we did was we basically, Indie Horror Junkie, we got behind those events, and they had one in Orlando and they had one here in Tampa. I went and hosted the Tampa event, and my partner Amy went and hosted the Orlando event, and we just promoted it and got as many people in the theater as we could to help them. So I would have loved to have done that for this as well. So if anything that pops up again, they decide round 2, you let me know. I got your back. Absolutely.
we got you. But well, you know what's crazy? Like, I mean, we'll probably speak about it a little bit later, but there are some more exciting opportunities coming up where there'll be some more opportunities for things like that to happen anyway.
Well, Indie Horror Junkies got your back. We support you. Absolutely. Just let me know.
Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Spread coming out in the next issue, and we'll be able to follow up and do more. Now, I know this might be a little ahead of the game because obviously you're looking at the release now and hopefully getting a big theatrical release, but I'm a big physical media fan. Everybody keeps saying physical media is dead and it's going away. And I don't buy that for a second, especially with indie filmmakers, because that's where their bread and butter is. Every convention they go to, they have it down their tables and stuff. So to me, physical media may just change a little bit, but it's going to be big. Has there been any discussion? Are you a big fan of that? Are you planning on having a physical release?
Dude, I'm old school. Like there is nothing better than having I'm not even saying Blu-ray, a DVD.
Yeah,
you can open up and you can see some information. There's a little inlay card, and it's something that is physical like that. Dude, that's me all over. So I'm like, that is part of the discussion as well, because there's so many people as well that are asking for a physical copy if they can kind of like get that now. So that's definitely in the discussion, and hopefully it's a route that we explore as well.
Absolutely. That would be great, because another thing that I like about physical media is a lot of times you get those companies that they'll pack those movies with or pack those DVDs with behind the scenes and short films and audio commentary. And that's the kind of stuff I love. As a filmmaker, I love going back and listening to audio commentary, how they did this and how they did that and where this came from and all that stuff. I mean, you grow as a filmmaker, and it just immerses you that much more in that world of that film. So I'm a big fan of that. Absolutely. All right. So you said you're having the discussions and stuff now, so we don't know yet as far as theatrical release or streaming. I'm sure it'll probably be on Chilling as well.
It's definitely going to be at some point. It's definitely going to be on Chilling as well. So I think once it's done its tour around the world and exposed to different platforms, etc., it will definitely be back on Chilling.
Okay, great. And then hopefully it'll be on a bunch of other streaming services as well. Like I said, and we definitely. So now that you've gotten that, what's the next step? Are you still involved in obviously the promoting and stuff like that of it and moving that along, or are you already setting your sights on your next project?
So there's been a few projects that I've been approached for. Like the response to the film, especially around the event, has been absolutely insane. And like some names and some companies that I won't mention right now, but like have still kind of like blown my mind and kind of like talking to me about the next projects that could potentially be happening from a directing point of view, which is really exciting. But if I'm being honest, there's so much effort and talk right now into number 2, like the sequel of Gale, because of, again, things that I can't even mention, but that are so exciting. Like if this comes to pass, it's just going to be insane. So there is a lot of effort right now in regards to number 2. The writing process is already underway. The pre-production and trying to get some things sorted out as soon as possible is already underway. So it's very much nonstop at the moment.
So let me ask you this though, because I'm a big proponent of that as well, sequels and follow-ups and stuff. But I guess my question is, when Gale was put together and when it was made, was there already an idea for a sequel and a follow-up should things work out? Or was this something that, due to the success and due to the excitement over it, now we're starting to think, we got to make a part 2, so the ideas are coming together?
So when I came up with the original concept and the story, it was very much like a universe, in the sense of I could easily craft like 7-8 stories out of this. So a sequel was, to be fair, the film didn't even feel like the film that I wanted to make, because of how much story that I wanted to kind of pack in, if that makes sense. So the sequel was always there. Like we even announced it as a trilogy. Like we said that there's 3 films that are going to come to kind of tie up the story properly. And the first Gale, the first one is very much like a slow burn introduction to the world, and then the second one kind of takes you all the way in, and then the third one does something completely different. So there's literally a world waiting to be explored.
Oh my God! Now you got me all chomping at the bit. So are they out there? Look at that. Absolutely. That's what I was kind of hoping, and I wasn't sure how to bring it up, because that's so many people sometimes they don't even have the idea of a sequel or a follow-up or anything, and it just kind of comes to life because of the success of the first one. Everybody has to make a sequel. If the first one's good and gets money and gets exposure, got to make a part two. It doesn't matter. So, and sometimes those sequels will suffer because of it, because it wasn't really laid out to have a follow-up or more. But it sounds like you've had that from the get-go, so there should be something really cool.
100%. So we like, I'm a big believer in exactly what you said. Like sometimes when things are forced, it just doesn't feel organic. But this is literally a world where there's so much that I want to say. There's so much that I want to kind of expand, and with the follow-ups as well, I want to be a lot more involved in the writing process, as opposed to like our writer Matt is absolutely amazing, and I handed over the concept and he's crafted something that like everyone's really proud of. But like as I'm growing as a filmmaker as well, I'm just like, I really want to get more involved in the writing. As I want to put my little spin on this, and I want to say this and I want to say that. So number 2 is definitely going to be an opportunity where I get to I suppose kind of insert my voice a little bit more as well. So it will be a really cool opportunity to see what happens with that.
Well, along those lines right there, was also another question I wanted to ask you. I know you're the director and stuff like that, and you're getting involved in the writing aspect. Have you ever done any work in front of the camera? And if so, are you in Gale by chance? No interest whatsoever?
Hell no. Listen, I'll be the worst. Put me in front of the camera. No, it's not happening. I have no desire for it. I have no talent for it. I'm not natural. I can just about do this. I can just about get away with a podcast. Do you know what I mean? But like anything beyond that, hell no.
Because some people have that, that feel that they can do everything and they love everything and they want to be and insert themselves. And some people even transition from behind the camera to in front of the camera. But yeah, I always have to ask that question, because especially in the indie world, people wear so many hats and do so many things. So it's always interesting to find out about that. Now, I know you said you had the premiere and everything, and obviously, so since you had the premiere and you had the Fathom thing where you went to the different theaters, there probably was no real film festival situation. You didn't do any kind of film festivals or anything like that with it, or is that still in the air?
We deliberately stayed away from film festivals. Like we wanted to do something very, very kind of different and make it very kind of contained and make it like there's a strategy in regards to getting the film the attention that we wanted. Like, what it's like doing an independent film without the kind of big budgets and big machines behind it. We had to really lean into how can we target audiences and get the people to really make this feel like a special event, a special journey, and kind of create an interest for it. So we stayed away from the film festivals, and we understand how powerful they can be as well to a degree. But I'm a big believer in nothing is more powerful than finding an audience and finding real people who are going to champion your film and kind of speak for you and kind of spread that. And it's worked for us. Like the marketing that we've managed to kind of do ourselves organically just by understanding that has been absolutely insane, and just been able to kind of like literally reach millions and millions. And so I think it's something that has worked so far. Film festivals later down the road, potentially. Yeah.
Well, so far, everything that I've seen of it has been so beautifully done. I mean, the poster art is beautiful. The film itself looks gorgeous. The lighting, everything else about it looks great. The storyline, from what you're explaining to me, even though I know you can't give a lot away or whatever, as a huge Wizard of Oz fan, I can already see little things here and there. And I love the angle that you took with the trailer and stuff. I love, especially what you said about you went out and you made a trailer and put it out there and made it look like a real movie or whatever it is. And that's how you got your interest. That's something that I've heard other people try to do. And I thought that like a proof of concept, like you said, put it out there, get some interest, see if people even like, what you're doing and what you're showing here. And if so, then hopefully that'll get the interest you need to make the movie. And it worked for you. So, congratulations for you on that. It's a great process. Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. So obviously we can't ask any more of that, because now we're in the waiting game, whatever. So you did a lot of music videos, you said at first when you were a kid and stuff, and that transitioned into, did you basically have you been doing everything kind of yourself? I guess what I'm trying to ask is, as an independent filmmaker, we have a lot of independent filmmakers and actors and actresses that watch the show. They like to know, is this something that you go and every project that you do you have like a set team that you do, or do you go out and you try to recrew and put out casting calls and stuff for every project, or do you try to keep everything like a certain crew and you do and you don't really put out casting calls, but you kind of do it from people that you've experienced with and you have a familiarity with? How is your process?
So I think it changes from project to project. So there are the key people that I kind of work with,
right,
on everything. Like Tanisha, for example, she produced Gale, and being my partner, I'm kind of stuck with her. I can't get away from her. So there we go.
Not that you want to.
Right. of course.
It's okay. I saved you there, so it's okay.
But in regards to crew, one thing that I love to do as a filmmaker, especially understanding how hard it's been to kind of get into this world, is providing opportunities for people that are struggling to kind of get into the industry. So our crew will usually be made up largely by people who are super talented, but just not have been able to kind of transition into the industry in the way that they want, or they may have been there for a while and gone off to do real life, but it's been really hard for them to get back, or even younger people trying to just get through, and it's just impossible because they don't know anyone. So we make a massive effort to kind of really get those people in, and it's really worked. And then, like, key heads of department, they will tend to be the same. You know what I mean? Like our DOP, worked with on several projects. Our art department, we worked with on several projects. But then at the same time, there's a beauty of, I love that excitement of working with new people and seeing how different minds can help bring out some of the craziness in your own mind as well, and not kind of get too used to familiarity. So it's definitely a mixed process, and I think that's one of the things I absolutely love about filmmaking, because the different people that you work with can often bring out a different side of yourself.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that, but also I can understand both sides of that, because at the end of the day, when you get on set, you've got a set shooting schedule, you got set days, everything is money, you can't afford to do it. So it's a lot easier to get in that situation where you bring in familiar people that you know to work with, because you know what to expect from them. You know that they're going to understand your vision, that everything's going to process the same way, and you're going to be able to meet your schedules and your deadlines and this and that, because you've worked with them before. You know what to expect. But then again, bringing in new people, like you were saying, you may find something so unique that helps bring things out that maybe you didn't know, or turns a character and brings a character to life that you may not have even processed before, but you never would have known that if you'd have got the same people that you're always used to. So it's kind of 100%. A mixed bag, but totally understand. But tell me that, as far as the casting process though, how did that go? I mean, was it like a madhouse and getting submissions from everybody? Because a Wizard of Oz horror movie, I'm surprised. I would have sent you casting my headshot or whatever, said, I know you were doing this. So how was that? Was it just overwhelming, or what'd you do?
So it was kind of crazy, because a lot of the cast came through from the very original trailer that I did. Okay. So I stuck with the same people. I just wanted to be really loyal to the people that have kind of started with us, and so couldn't get everybody in because the story doesn't have, it's a different story that we're telling, so it didn't make sense for some characters. But for our leads, it was a case of, we've already casted them from the trailer, and when I put the casting out for the trailer, I never said that it was anything to do with the Wizard of Oz. I just put it out there as, we're doing a horror trailer, and just left it at that. Do you know what I mean? So when it came to actually casting for the feature film, for the few roles, because it is quite a limited cast. Again, right. I don't think we mentioned it was the Wizard of Oz, because again, we know what's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? We want it to be quite selective. We want it to be really find the right people that they're going to be there for the right reasons as well. So I'm so happy with the cast that we found. Like everybody, like every single role is just like perfect for what we needed. Absolutely amazing.
Nice. All right, another question I have for you. Obviously, you're from the UK. Whereabouts in the UK are you from?
So I am in Birmingham, so the official second city of the UK.
Oh, nice. I've actually been to Europe once. I went to the Cannes Film Festival. So
okay.
Yeah, we stayed there in London with a friend of mine whose family lives there. I forget exactly where she was, but it was fairly close to Piccadilly Square, if you're familiar with that area. Okay. And then, of course, we went to we stayed in Nice, and then went to Cannes for the film festival. And I've always said my whole life that I would never want to live any place other than America. I've been American, born and bred in this and that. But I'll tell you, after being there in England for a week, the very first place I went to was some little pub, and it was like a punk rock pub, and everybody there with the spiky hair and all that stuff. And I thought, oh my God, we're going to get the shit kicked out of us here. The first guy walked up to me, heard I was from America. They bought us a round of beers, and we sat there talking with them for hours. I'm like, I love this freaking place.
Oh, that's amazing. So whereabouts in America are you based?
Well, I was born in New York, and then I ended up migrating to Tampa, Florida, and I live in Newport Richie now, but basically the Tampa area. So we try to do everything that we can right in and around here in Tampa.
That's great. Okay, so my goal is to move to Florida. That's what I want to do.
Oh yeah, really?
For real. Like, because like I think for the past 2 years in a row, like there's a place that we stay in Kissimmee, and it's just like. And I'm just like, okay, like I'm in love, man. Like I do not want to leave when I'm there. Like this is where I need to. Yeah, I'm going.
A lot of people come here and then they say, and now they're starting to do some stuff now where they're finally getting their heads out of their butts around here and getting the tax incentives going again for the filmmakers. That because a lot of people were coming here and live here, but they'll go and they'll shoot in Atlanta or something like that because of the tax breaks and stuff like that. But now they're starting to bring that back over here because everybody's here, so they want to be able to keep that production here and stuff. And with no state taxes like that, I mean, it's it's good stuff. So when you come, remember. We got to hook up. We'll do some stuff.
100%.
Indie Horror Junkie will support you. Okay. For my next question, the reason I asked you about that is because one of the questions I like to ask all the filmmakers when they come on is how the film scene is where they're from. I mean, obviously you're in a whole different country, but what's the independent film scene like? Is it prosperous and there's people making movies all over the place, or is it really hard to find people? What's the whole indie scene like there?
I've got a feeling that it's very similar to most places around the world, which is you've got a ton of people making stuff, but very difficult to kind of break through and get any real traction in regards to it becoming commercial successful, or even getting the kind of attention that you want it to. But like in the UK, there are so many talented filmmakers here, really, really talented filmmakers, and so many different interesting stories as well, that are now getting picked up more and more. Like for a very, very long time, it was almost, it felt like the UK indie scene was almost invisible, to the point where you're not really going to hear anything unless it's, commercially viable stuff that's coming out from the UK. But now there are so many things that are being made independently. And I think it's a shift in technology and the way that the culture is essentially kind of like blurring the lines ever so slightly. It's just meant that more things are starting to kind of creep out, and the world's a smaller place now with the internet and technology and stuff. But no, I think the UK has so many stories that I think would benefit the world as well, because they're very different, they're very kind of quirky, and it's a very distinctive voice as well, the very distinctive voice. But we're still working on just trying to get more power behind us to just make sure those stories reach more people, essentially.
Yeah. Well, you're kind of from the same era that I am. We talked about that with the floppy disks and stuff. That was, all right, 11.
Yep.
So, but I've grown up on British horror. I mean, Hammer Films was a huge thing for me. One of my favorite filmmakers and actors is Simon Pegg. Everything that he did with Shaun of the Dead and everything else. And I even have his series Spaced and all that stuff that he did originally. That's what got my eye about him originally. But I've always been a huge fan of British horror. And there was a series on that was a British show called Being Human. It was on the BBC for several years. It was like 5 seasons. That was such a brilliant show. They ended up doing an American remake that I think lasted a few seasons. It was good, but it wasn't quite as good as the British version. But so that was a horror show that was basically about a ghost, a vampire, and a werewolf that lived together as roommates. So, and it was a serious show. It was really good in how they explored all that. With you, is horror like one of your main genres that you love, or you pretty much anything that, whatever you get as far as, an excitement or when you get an idea or whatever it is, you pretty much jump from genre to genre? Or what is your favorite genre, I guess is my main question.
So horror, I think horror is definitely one of my favorite genres, and especially a genre that I really want to explore as well. Like horror, like it always has been, and sci-fi. Like I love a good sci-fi movie, horror has, since I think it was probably watching the original Poltergeist in whatever year that came out in, that was kind of like my kind of, okay, this is just an insane, crazy world because it scares the hell out of me. And with my personality, I'm kind of like, if something kind of scares me, I want to embrace it. Do you know
You
what
want
I
to
mean?
explore it, yeah.
I want to explore it. So I just love what you can do with horror because I think it's very much a reflective genre where it can really start making you look at yourself and how you kind of process the world and how you see things. So I love all genres, but horror for me is definitely a place where I'm going to be exploring for a considerable time. And I really want to just hone the craft as well and just understand how to tell some of these stories. Some of the, some of my favorite films are horror films, and it's like I want to be able to really contribute to this world.
Well, good. You speak to my heart, my brother. I can't wait to hear more of what you got. But the thing with horror, though, is that it's almost like we get treated like the redheaded stepchild, because it's like nobody wants to admit they make horror movies. And the big companies don't really want to admit that they make horror movies. And sometimes the bigger companies like Disney or whatever, they'll make smaller companies so they can actually make their horror movies because they make money, but they don't want to admit to it, so it won't be a Disney thing. And I've always hated that. To me, it's like, just enjoy it, embrace it, because to me, scaring somebody and getting that adrenaline rush or whatever it is so incredible. If you can do something that's going to make somebody jump, make somebody, hide their eyes or talk about it or leave the light on when they go to bed. I mean, come on, you've won. You've won in life.
Damn right.
Absolutely, man. So good to hear you talk about that and what's going on over there. All right, so obviously I don't want to keep you on much longer because obviously it's very early in the morning. It is your birthday, so you need to go get some sleep and enjoy your birthday and stuff like that. Is there anything? Can you tell people how they can follow you, how they can follow Gale? What's the best way to reach out to you or to follow the movie, and what's the next step?
No problem at all. So so there is an Instagram page, Gale Yellow Brick Road Film, which we usually have most of the updates in regard to the film. My own social media, Instagram is Daniel Alexander Films, and I'm always posting about Gale and everything else that's going on in my world of filmmaking. And yeah, there should be some really cool announcements coming up soon. And awesome. I'm really excited for what's coming next. So again, for me, social media is pretty much where everything lands anyway. So if it's not on Instagram, it hasn't happened.
I hear that. We did get one question here for you. Let's get and do this as we get ready to close out here. Our question is, I know budget can be an issue. Do you prefer filming on location or a film set?
Location. Every time. I've really liked the just the realism of being in a lived-in space, a real space, a place that you can see and people can interact with. I always feel like you get a different level of performance when you're on location.
Yeah, I totally agree. Absolutely. All right, Daniel. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you off stage here real quick, but don't hang up just yet. I'm just going to say goodbye to everybody. Close the show, and I'll come back and give you a proper goodbye, okay?
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for joining us. Okay, we'll be right with you. All right, everybody. I was so looking forward to this. I'm so glad he was able to join us. I don't want to keep him any longer because I know he's got to get some sleep. But I was so happy we got to pull this off because this is a movie I have been looking forward to. I am so happy it's going to be a big spread in our upcoming issue number 23, which actually gets released on Friday the 13th. So you can read all about it. We got some great images in there. And definitely follow along with this guy. And when he comes to Florida, we're going to put some crazy shit out. So you watch for it, okay? In the meantime, we'll see you next week. We got the Greasy Boys coming on the 11th, and then we'll be taking a couple of weeks off for MegaCon. So we'll see you next Wednesday.